Good afternoon, Keith Tebow, FRCmedia. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a little while since we've caught up with our friends, Dave and Sandy Dennis of the Creative Arts Network. Of course, CAN has been doing a lot of work across the city for a number of years now to help promote arts and culture. So we thought we'd get an update today and also talk about a couple of activities that are going to be happening with the organization. Dave and Sandy, how are you? Thanks for joining me.
Good, Keith.
Good. Thank you for having us.
I actually want to start with a program and an event that's actually happening as we record this coming weekend. It's a virtual tour, if you will, of some attractions across Fall River. And from what I understand, you're working in partnership with Bristol Community College. So talk about how the project came about.
Well, what happened was we actually worked with a group of students last semester because, like you know, Keith, the college isn't opened. So students can't go to class. They need to have their classes. They need to select a project because this is the event planning hospitality class. And they can't go out in the community to represent the college because of COVID. So they needed a sponsor to sponsor them to help them run their event. So we were approached by their professor and we said, absolutely. I mean, if there's anything better than to help a group of students, get through the education process, we were right there. So last semester, it was their last second year class who's graduating now. And they chose to do an event called Operation Military Smile to raise money for this organization. And they had to figure out how they were going to do this virtually. So we worked with them and supported them, gave them ideas, and one thing led to another. And they ended up exceeding all of their expectations, surprisingly, because they had so many challenges to overcome with COVID and the restrictions. So we worked with them. Now this semester, it's a first year class, and they've chosen to do their event through tours of Fall River, Attleboro, and Taunton, because the students are from different areas of the South Coast and Bristol County. And we decided to work with them, and seeing that their events were going to be tours, they should do it during National Tourism Week. Because what better way to do a tour than a tourism week? So we've been working with them. Each of the students selected a museum or historical venue to promote. So we have 7 students, and 2 of them are doing the Old Colony Historical Commission in Attleboro. Another student is doing the Art Association in Attleboro, the Old Colony Historical Commission in Taunton. We have one student that picked Oak Grove Cemetery in Fall River. Someone picked the Fall River Historical Society in Fall River. Someone picked the Lafayette Durfee House in Fall River. And someone wants to do the Underground Railroad. With the help of and assistance from you, we're able to have used the tour that you have on the Lafayette Durfee website. So what they'll be doing is they all have to introduce themselves. So they all did an introductory video that they'll be posting, and they put a flyer together for the team that's doing it. They put a flyer together on the tours that they're going to be doing, and then we will help them promote it through our Facebook page, our website, and then they'll be doing it through their Facebook page. They've collected emails with all of the Chamber of Commerce's and all of the visitors information sites from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, and they have contacted them. And to my surprise, a lot of them are actually helping them promote their events and their tours.
All right, so tell me then, how can the general public get involved? You mentioned there's a Facebook component to this. So how will the general public be able to, in effect, see these tourist attractions next week?
Well, they can go on our website, because we're going to have this all posted hopefully by the end of this week. Each one of the students' Facebook pages will be on the site, on the web page for them. They can see the schedule, because each one of the students has a specific day and time that they're going to be posting their tour. And they can also go on the CAN Facebook page, CAN Fall River, and we'll be posting. And we ask the general public to go on our website and go up on the student Facebook pages and watch the videos, share the videos, encourage other people to go up on their Facebook pages and the website to participate and share this information. So that's basically how we're trying to do it. If they know an organization or an online venue that someone wants to post it, they can pull our flyers that they've developed and post them on other websites that promote tourism. So there's lots of different ways that the public can get involved.
And of course, as you said, it would be nice that in the future, when COVID is over, or at least the restrictions have lessened up, that people can actually go visit these locations in person. I know you mentioned that earlier. I want to get into now a little bit of just some CAN activity. Last time we spoke, which was sometime last year, maybe the fall. Obviously, your organization, as many organizations, tourism is being hit hard in our region and across the country. And a lot of your events needed to be postponed. Give us an update on some CAN activities and what you've been working on, and hope to maybe sort of get back to sort of a normal schedule as we get toward the summer.
Yeah, so one of the things we did, obviously, as an organization, we recognized that it was going to be difficult to do any type of programming outside. So one of the things that we wanted to do in response to the pandemic was to find out, what people would be interested in doing, what we could offer them. So we conducted a survey. We conducted one over. We used obviously Google survey. It was pretty easy process for us, and we gathered a bunch of information, some demographic information. We asked a series of questions about what type of events they would like, outdoor events, indoor events, what kind of cultural events did they like. They came back and they told us that, they really wanted more arts and culture in the city. They wanted more venues outside. They liked music. And then, of course, as I said, demographic information. We wanted to know who our audience was. We wanted to know, where they lived, where they came from. How many people in the city of Fall River were responded. We found that information out. So we did a whole bunch of a series of questions, and we wanted to know, sort of what income bracket, how many people lived in homes, single family versus multifamilies, and we did a series of questions, and it was very, very helpful to us. And so we began to develop some future projects, really based on the survey. So it's been very helpful to CAN.
Any ideas in terms of any planned events maybe for the summer and heading into the fall? Obviously, the governor just announced that more reopening is going to be happening in the months of May and moving forward. So any concrete plans you can share as of yet?
Yes, we've been busy during COVID. We certainly have not sat down. Like Dave said, the survey has provided us with some valuable information, which is the direction that we're taking with our events. But we have also been applying for grants, and we have been fortunate to have been awarded grants during this cycle. And one of them is primarily for the cultural district. So we will be planning an event probably during the summer, fall, a big event. And as you know, the grants have restrictions. You really need to do what the grant specifies. And a lot of the grants coming in now want a focus on COVID and how communities are dealing with COVID, how we plan on rebuilding the communities post-COVID. So we are planning that event based around that information and what they're looking for us to do. So that should be kind of a weekend-long event. We're also going to do, and we're working on an open air exhibit. We received a local cultural council grant for that, and we want to thank them for that because this is a collaborative project that Dave and we've been working with DOT on for many years. And we've actually officially adopted the area where the 79 and Route 138 exchange is. You'll see our little sign up there from DOT that we've adopted it. And we're going to be making very large interpretive boards to start to tell the history of Fall River, specifically geared towards the cultural district. And it's a lengthy process because obviously between permitting and approvals through DOT, trying to get, historically correct information. We're working with a local historian on that as well. So that we were hoping to plan around June, but that might be delayed because of the time getting the boards produced through the printer and getting all of our approvals from the state. We're also working with Mass Coastal Rail on the waterfront for a small placemaking project. And that will incorporate, as well as DOT, the Hortensia, our hydrangea project that we had to put on hold last year, that we're going to be going in full gear now, starting actually tomorrow. And that will be a small area on Water Street that we're working with Mass Coastal Rail on. And then hopefully we got a grant for that. We'll be purchasing like 100 hydrangeas to plant all throughout the cultural district. That project obviously is starting now this week. Then we are going to be looking at virtual events still, because a lot of people don't want to be indoors. But during COVID, we did do a lot of virtual events. We worked with a lot of our local artists to do paint events. We just did an Earth Day event. We collaborated with the Fall River Public Library on that. So they did a curbside craft event that we worked with on them. And then we put some videos up online about, planting and stuff like that. So all throughout the year, we've actually done a whole series of we did a whole Valentine's Day virtual event with how to, dance lessons, paint lessons, chocolate covered strawberry, everything related to Valentine's Day. So that was up on our Facebook page as well. And we shared that on our website. So we've been very busy. We've been trying to obviously acquire a lot of funding. We're still working on the handicapped accessible trolley project. So we have proposals out for that. So hopefully at some point next year, we'll be able to be in a position to actually buy a handicapped accessible trolley. And with the project that we're working on with the students, will enable us to develop more city tours that we'll be able to use the trolley for. And basically that's it. And then as projects come up, we want to do a small project with local artists to do, sidewalk murals, or like, for instance, we wanted to do a Spring Has Sprung, but because the weather was so bad that day, we couldn't do it. So we'll postpone that into the spring, where we'll have an artist paint flowers popping up through the cracks of the road. Then we want to do murals, like, for instance, in front of a coffee shop, have a coffee mug. In front of the breweries, have a beer mug. So we want to work with the local artists to get creative in wayfinding throughout the cultural district as well, because people, they don't always know what something is. But if you put an international figure like a teacup, it's a cafe. If you put a beer mug, it's a brewery. So they know they can go in there and get a beer or a cup of coffee. So we're working on that as well. So we're working on a lot of projects right now.
Right. And one thing that you've both been involved with that you spoke before the city council on, and it's before the city council right now, is creating some sort of public art policy where showcasing the city's art publicly in some way, shape, or form. Dave, talk a little bit about how that came about and what it actually means to have a public art policy in a city like Fall River.
So the public art policy actually really goes back to the Patrick administration. It was an initiative that the then Governor Patrick began during his administration. And it was called Establishing the Massachusetts Percent for Art Program and the Public Art Commission. And the idea behind it was that he was encouraging communities to adopt the public art policy. And it was a way of funding arts and culture in the communities. And it was like 0.5% of the cost of construction, of any new construction in the areas, in the cities and towns. The original, it was like $250,000. That may have changed slightly since then. But the idea is still the same, in that They want to create a commission in each one of the 351 cities and towns throughout the Commonwealth, basically to support arts and culture, and in particular to fund some of the projects and to preserve some of the arts and culture, projects in these communities. And so it's really the idea behind it is to codify, which is we've been done, like I said, in several other communities, to codify a statute, in this particular case, an ordinance for the city, and create a commission of nine folks who will help with the process. What it's not is, it's not about groups or organizations who run programming in these cities. That's not what it's intended. There's some confusion about exactly what the arts and culture policy is all about. That's what it's not about. What it's really about is creating an organization that creates policy and helps with the arts and culture in these communities. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Sandy might be able to clarify a little bit more, so she add a little bit more to it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sandy. You want to add some more?
Oh, actually, Dave did a pretty good job explaining it, but I guess basically the policy is a public art policy. It's not an art and culture policy. It's a public art commission because this policy will support the art and culture organizations within the city. So it's kind of a standalone policy. If you have an art and culture policy or commission, it's so broad that you lose sight on specific details of art and culture. Public art is a specific thing in art and culture. The city of Fall River needs a dedicated public art policy, and we need a commission that focuses on public art policy that will support the art and culture organizations within our city.
Right. Sounds like a very ambitious plan. I'm sure we'll hear more about it soon. I'm glad the two of you are doing well, and thank you for the update. Dave and Sandy Dennis from the Creative Arts Network. Thank you for your time. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Keith.
Thanks
Appreciate
for your time.
it.
Appreciate it.
All right. And thank you for joining us today here on FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great day.